Let me take you back to 1984 in Mission Viejo. Check this out. 5-time Olympic gold medalist Greg Louganis doing a little dive practicing. Look at those muscles. Look at that form. Look at that. Oh, perfect. Hardly a splash. Little did we know what a giant he would become in diving. But then, this is local diver and author Alex Mackey. Yeah, a little bit more of a splash.
We're working on it.
But wait a minute, how in the world did he get to be even this good? Well, here they are, Big Fat Divers, the unbelievable true story of one man's journey as he goes from overweight soccer dad to competitive college diver, all with the help of Olympic gold medalist Alex Louganis.
Alex Louganis. Okay.
I've been doing this for too long.
We're married now.
Yeah.
There we go. Legally.
And it's a whole new book.
Yeah, my husband might have something to say about that.
Greg Louganis and Alex Mackey, it's nice to have you here.
Thank you
so
much.
Now, this book is really interesting, but let's start with the reason why you completely fell apart and really gave you the genesis to change your life. You had a tragedy in your family, Alex.
Yeah, my youngest son was born early and was in the hospital for 5 months, and then ended up, he came home, he was doing great, and a week after being home, he passed away.
Oh. And what happened to you then?
So I stress ate, and I stress ate while he was in the hospital, and I just kind of gradually gained weight over the course of that 6 months.
A lot of weight,
and,
right?
Yeah, a lot of weight. So I was up to, I was up to about 220. I put on about 70 pounds.
Wow. And so at some point you had to have a come to Jesus moment, I call it. And forgive me if that offends anybody, but that's one of those things where you realize you got to do something.
Moment.
It's an aha moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell me about that moment.
I was getting ready to turn 40. I had my DMV picture coming up, and I knew that was going to be on there for a long time.
Right.
And it was a combination of that, and I was getting my blood pressure checked, and it came in high. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I have to make a change. And so it was a hybrid of those things, and I didn't want to get yelled at by the doctor at my 40-year-old physical. And
yeah.
So I said, okay,
but then you
change.
decided that you want to be a diver. That's such a, I mean, I would never go there. I would never go there. Well, how did you go there? Yeah,
right?
It is random. Tell me about that decision.
I had taken a diving class like 20-plus years ago when I was in college, but it was just that. It was just a diving class. And I was taking my kids to swim class over at the local community college and talking with the guy that runs the program there as my kids were jumping off the board. And I said, oh, yeah, I took a dive class in college. And he was like, why don't you take mine? And so I did. I took his community college diving class, and at the end of that, they had kind of like a little mock competition, and it was the kids that were on the El Camino dive team and the other kids in the class, and I ended up winning this mock competition. And they said, why don't you be on the dive team? And I said, that sounds like a good midlife crisis thing to do, so I joined the dive team.
But then you somehow amped your whole diving thing up by contacting Greg Louganis. Now tell me how that happened. So, I mean, you just can't pick up the phone and go, hey, Greg, listen, I'm this mock champion of this mock champion diving thing. Can you help me out? And, you know, I'm going to get your response in a second, but tell me how that contact happened.
Okay, so it was a couple-year journey, because I joined the dive team. I ended up tearing both rotator cuffs, and so I had a couple surgeries, and so 2 years later, they're like, are you coming back? And I was like, yes. So I joined up on the dive team again, and...
But you're 40 years old. What are you doing in an El Camino College dive team?
Well, I saw that. I was looking at the numbers, like, you know, I could probably make it to state.
Eligibility, right?
Yeah, I could make it to state. And I'm like, that would be really cool. You have this fat soccer dad that, like, loses all this weight and goes to state. Like,
okay, so how did the Louganis connection come?
So it was late one night, and I got this crazy idea in my head. I'm like, I need a dive coach before I go back to team. And so I found him on the internet, and I sent him an email, and I said, here's my story. Will you be my coach?
Well, you reached out to me on Twitter, so that's how this happened. which tells you how social media works. And so, Greg, then you would say, this crazy guy, this 40-year-old wants me to teach him to dive. What was your thought then?
Well, I responded back, you know, because I was just so captivated by his story and so inspired. And I reached out to him and I said, okay, before I go any further, send me some videos. And so he sent some videos, and I was like going, there might be something to work with here. You know, on the community college level, you know, it's like, you know, maybe this might be doable. You know, that this may be an achievable goal for the
But you're a
community
big
college.
celebrity. You're a superstar Olympic athlete. Why would you even take the time to be with a guy like Alex? And not to denigrate you at all, but it's like me calling, hey, Greg, I'm trying to learn how to dive. Will you help me out? I mean, seriously.
Well, I mean, I get requests from all over the world.
Right, I would think so.
Oh, can you coach me? Can you help me? And all, but it's so unreal. I live in California. I live in Southern California, and so this, I thought, oh, Torrance. It was like, oh, well, it's just down the street. Well, maybe we can work something out. And so I reached back out to him and I said, I think that there's something to work with here. And so we connected, and I said, okay, first thing you got to address your diet. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Because he called you from McDonald's, didn't he? Or you guys connected? He was going through the drive-thru,
he didn't want to share that with me.
Right.
He was like going through the drive-thru on the phone with me, picking up
got
his,
the 20-piece McNugget.
I'm hitting mute, trying to conceal that I'm in the drive-thru at McDonald's.
I love it. And then we just connected, and it was great. I said, okay, number one, you got to go to a dive camp this summer. And so I reached out to one of the coaches, one of the Olympic coaches, Drew Johansson, and I said, look, there's a 40... Were you 42 at the
41
time?
At the time.
41 at the time.
Yeah.
41 diver, 8-year-old diver who's coming out to you for your camp. Mm-hmm. Alex Mackey, take care of him. And report back to me.
Well, that means a lot, coming from Greg Louganis.
Oh my gosh!
Right? Sure.
Yeah, it made all the difference.
You know what? What was incredible is once Drew learned his story, I mean, it was inspiring to Drew. Right. And it's inspiring to any diver. I mean, and it's inspiring on so many levels. Grief, loss, emotional eating, addressing that issue. Because it is an issue. And and introducing healthier choices and
having success and change your life, didn't it, Alan?
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Tell me what you feel like now.
Elated. This has just been such an amazing experience, and to have someone like Greg and of Greg's caliber, be supporting me on, what's really in a sense a bit of a small journey to be diving at a community college level. It's been remarkable.
That is incredible. The book is called, what's it called?
Big Fat Diver.
Big Fat Diver.
Big Fat Diver.
Big Fat Diver.
There's Big Fat Diver. Now, the last question I'm going to ask you before I let you both go. Has he taught you how to avoid hitting the diving board?
Okay.
I actually hit the diving board the second day of practice.
Of course you did. He's your coach.
My ankles and
I'm just teasing you, Greg. Jeez.
I don't teach that. I don't teach
That's
that.
a specific skill
He's
left only for the Olympics.
He's awesome.
Great to have you both here. Congratulations
so
on your Greg. Now, where can we find the book?
On Amazon Kindle and iBooks bookstore.
All right, best of luck to you.
Thank
All
you
right.
so much. Thank you.
Greg,
Thank
it's a pleasure.
you. It's so great to see you.
Great to see you, too. We'll be right back with more Good Morning San Diego.